Welcome back to another edition of the Stack Supplement Podcast, where we run down all of the top stories and exciting announcements shared on our website from the past 7 days. And I mechanically just say that every single time. However, this week, I believe we did our podcast last Wednesday. It was a bit of a catch up. So this one is actually going to be more of a, like a 5-day thing. And we were going to do it a day later, but either way, we've got reason now because this past few days has been absolutely intense. The brands are bringing the innovation, the news is rolling out, and there is a lot to talk about. Even in the 4 or 5 days it's been since the last podcast episode. But we're going to kick off with a bit of admin. As if you weren't aware, in fact I hope everyone is aware, we are 8 weeks away from the Arnold Sports Festival, where we will once again have the powerhouse, awesome, just don't miss it, Stack Pavilion, hosted by us. It is basically a section at the show where all the brands that are in there are going to be brands you will have seen on Stacked. And it's just a very great collection of companies. It's not supplements out here and there. It's just all kind of in this nice area, equally presented, all with innovations, exciting things to see and whatnot. And that is indeed going down in 8 weeks. We have our giveaway where we're going to fly someone all the way to the show. I said that we wanted to come up with something to help spread the awareness and just the experience of the show. And while you could have maybe given out some coupons or I don't know, some sort of situation, I figured what better way than just to give an experience, the whole experience, to one individual, and that's what we're doing. I think the entries are still open at stack.com/Arnold-experience. And we're also doing one final social media push. So there will be a post going up on Wednesday where you can just follow the instructions in the caption and you'll be in the draw, as well as everyone else who's already entered via the form on the website. In addition to that, we announced the Executive Pass last week, or something that a lot of people would have already seen coming. I already told them it was coming back. The Executive Pass is basically for business personnel, industry individuals, retailers, buyers, distributors, everybody like that. You just sign up, name, email, and company, and you'll get to be able to pick up an Executive Pass on the day that you're there, or days leading up to it, however your trip is organized. And you get to get into the show an hour early to effectively speak to exhibitors on the floor without the hustle and bustle of everyone rolling around. You also obviously have access when those times run around, but the goal is to let people better get into the floor, talk to brands, and interact, present themselves before the rush of just the packed house that it becomes later in the day. And you can do that any day, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. And the Executive Pass also is a nice way to establish yourself. Brands will know or be aware of the pass, and so when they see it, they can identify you as such. I'm pretty sure that is... Oh, actually, no, we've got a couple other things. We posted a little bit about it. This is the commemorative coin. We had organized it for returning. We had it last year where it was a black and gold coin. So everyone that was in the Stack Pavilion got that. Just arrived today. It's a silver and white. So anyone that is in the Stack Pavilion will get one of those ones. Now I should point out there are two versions. Black and gold is for first time people to the Stack Pavilion. White and silver are those returning. So anyone who's been there twice will get the white and silver, as they would have already got the black and gold last year. It was just a fun little thing. And if you are in the area at the Arnold Sports Festival, I know we only make a limited amount, but if I do have any left over, I would like to pass it on to someone, especially people who listen to this and make it up to the Arnold. And so it'd be a great little commemorative thing to pass on to people. One last thing, and this is the last little bit of admin before we jump into the monumental amount of news I have to get through. And this is the Stacked 45. Now this was something that we teased over the weekend, officially announced today on Monday. So over the years, we've had, for our Brand of the Year awards, we've always had just Brand of the Year. We went through each year and then we're like, this was the coolest brand. We eventually started adding more nominees and stuff. And then a few years ago, I think it was 5 years ago, we did start doing subcategories. Energy drink Brand of the Year, Functional Brand of the Year, Newcomer of the Year, International Brand of the Year. And then since then, we actually had someone... A lot of people ask, kind of since the beginning of the awards as well, not beginning but early on, we should do product awards. Traditionally, we've always had like a list of our ever-changing favorites, or whatever, the top protein bars, top favorite flavored energy drinks. fat burners, muscle builders and stuff, and that list is still on the site. But we always wanted to kind of make something like that end of year product awards to highlight innovations from the year. We just didn't want to do it in the way of like pre-workout of the year, because it's very similar to our Expo awards that we used to do or still do, is it put you in a really shitty position, right? If you want to, let's say you do pre-workout of the year and they were absolutely not great, but then the year prior they were fantastic. It makes it tricky to sort of kind of do an award like that justice. And then let's just say someone knocks out a powerhouse pump pre-workout, or even like an intro workout or a test booster or whatever it may be. You don't have that ability to acknowledge that. So keeping it short, we came up with the Stacked 45. Basically, I mean, the original idea is kind of to get it from Forbes, but Forbes 100, I guess, the personality list. You see them from a lot of places where they say XYZ 50, blah, 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 20, blah, 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 100. I actually saw this at a restaurant, and they were nominated for like the local city's top 50 eats, and I was like, I like that. And so that's really, really where the idea came from. I always thought like, hey, best innovations of the year, which was what that award or that little nod was. And the reason 45 is I just didn't want to do 100. I thought it was too many. I didn't want to do 50, so we went with 45 just purely in honor of the iconic 45-pound plate, and that's realistically the reason. So later this week, we will be announcing the Protein Wars winner, as we finally got the preview of the ring across to us, which is what I was waiting for. We also got we have the Brand of the Year winner to be announced. And then we also have the Stack 45 list. And this will be 45 innovations from the year that just really stood out to us. It could be a protein bar, it could be a pre-workout, it could be a flavor of a protein powder. It could be something that a brand just did. It could be an ingredient. And that's why we kind of liked this idea, is it has a lot of just places that we can take it. It doesn't necessarily need to be, hey, 5 pre-workouts nominated for pre-workout of the year type thing. It allows us to move about. And we narrowed the list down today, and I think I had about 105 products. So I'm having to shrivel that down to 45. And many of the brands on that list, many of the products on that list, a lot of them are from same brands as well. I think someone has 2, maybe 3. Few of them have 2 or 3, I believe. So it's a nice variety, and not a lot of it is pre-workouts. There's a good amount of pre's, there's a good amount of energy and functional. A lot of them are functional as well. And there are some ingredients on there too, so keep an eye out for that. Be announced later this week, as well as all those other awards. We're now jumping straight into the news, which is what the focus of the podcast is really, and we're starting with the David Protein Powder, the unmatchable David Protein Bar, which will be at the Arnold Expo, not in the Stack Pavilion. I remember seeing them. I kind of wish they were, but they are, I believe, on the left, somewhere on the left. I remember seeing them and just was like kicking myself. I should have reached out. Would have loved to have them in there. But yeah, they will be there, and they have revealed and released 2 brand new flavors. They hinted that they were going to come out with more flavors. They started with 4, not overly common flavors. They were like the blueberry was a quite interesting one, the cake batter. But these first 2 extensions, the first ever extensions from the brand, are a little more on the common side, but one of them has a bit of a twist. So they're both peanut butter flavors. They both have the 28 grams of protein, no sugar, 150 calories, that impossible macronutrient profile. And there is peanut butter chocolate chunk, and we know they know how to give you chocolate chunks, as we've seen in some of the other flavors. And then the other one is salted or salty peanut butter. So kind of like, I guess, just a very, I can't really say anything other than salty peanut butter, a tasty peanut butter. Both sound damn good. And both are quite, to be honest, peanut butter is usually a flavor that brands start with. So it's good to see them put something on there that's familiar, that consumers will be familiar with. Like I said, peanut butter is a common taste, and then they give it their own little twist. So it's not just peanut butter and chocolate, it's peanut butter chocolate chunks. And then the salty peanut butter sounds pretty damn good. To be honest, it's kind of one of the nicer, when peanut butter is a little bit saltier, it does have that potential of being tastier. So it would be interesting to see how they communicate that and how they really differentiate the 2. But those are out now. They were both revealed today and released, so you can pick them up on the David Protein Bar website, as well as they're included in the variety pack. There is now a variety bundle that has all 6 flavors, not all 4, one of each flavor, including the two new peanut butter tastes. Next up, we're going to leap over to Optimum Nutrition, the granddaddy of the sports nutrition industry, the icon, the legend, whatever you want to call it. They recently dropped a version of Amino Energy. I think we talked about it on the last podcast, where you get everything that's basically in Amino Energy, electrolytes, plus Cognitique for added focus. Now that product is exclusive to Costco, but that's not the only thing they have now that's only at Costco. They also managed to sneak out a size of micronized creatine, which is basically their standalone unflavored creatine monohydrate. Now, the very interesting part about this is the value. And over the last few years, we've seen a lot of brands get innovative and creative with flavors as the popularity of creatine has just kind of rocketed with people doing flavors, different formats, different styles, different complexities. But there have been a few that have chased the value route. Now that's usually something you see in protein powder and other kind of standalones, but the creatine value has been pretty interesting. And EcoVision did a half kilogram, 500 gram tub, so 100 servings for $20. That was announced as kind of one of the strongest competitors you'll find. And then just recently, Huge Supplements did the same thing. I'm gathering it's intentional, I'm not sure, but they did a 500 gram tub for $20.50, whereas EcoVision's was $20.99, I think. Either way, that $20 price point has been a benchmark, and you will have a hard time finding, you won't have a hard time finding, but most brands that come out with creatines, it's usually the 300 gram, and they sit in the 20s. So it's a big value difference. But Optimum Nutrition has put I'm going to try to remember the exact number, 675 gram tub of micronized creatine into Costco. So 675 grams is 135 servings. So that's, what did I say that worked out? 35% more than the half kilo tubs we've been seeing. But the price is $19.99. That's not just good value, that's insane value. And from Optimum Nutrition, no less. Like when you see these sorts of deals, when it comes from someone you might not know, or you might be a little more obscure, you might be hesitant to be like, okay, maybe something's up. Usually, the old saying, if it's too good to be true, it's not. This is Optimum Nutrition, one of the longest running, most established, and potentially most trusted brands in terms of longevity out there. They have been around for a very long time, kings of protein, even dominated in the mass market with Serious Mass, Amino Energy, and so on. And they have always had large sizes of creatine. Back in the day, they were very much one of the strong players. I remember very early on, I got into creatine using their bulk stuff. So it's pretty cool to see them come back and just blow the lid off that 500 gram for $20, $675 for $20. It's 35% better value, only at Costco. And I know someone pointed out to me a while back, there is no scoop in Optimum's micronized creatine. If just a quick note, use a teaspoon. I think around a teaspoon usually works out to the 5 grams. Feel free to measure it if you want. I wouldn't have no problem with that. Also have a bunch of scoops lying around, but for that extra value, like again, if you're shooting for top value, if you are in fact going to Costco and buying this for its damn good price, I feel like who really cares that much if the scoop is missing? And not missing, it's just not in there. Just purely because if the whole purpose is to buy it to save money, then this is what it is. And like I said, just a teaspoon, I think a rounded teaspoon. They even say it on the back of the product, say rounded teaspoon, it works out to about 5 grams. So yeah, ridiculously good value and very impressive from a long runner like them. Next up, we're going to jump to Magic Spoon, who is one of my favorite protein cereal out there. It's just too damn good. It's just so damn good. The protein, the macros, the keto-friendly profile, it just low sugar. It hits as good as others. It kind of reminds me of a lot when we used to compare protein ice creams. A lot of them were the same. They had very similar macro profiles, and when a category starts out, that tends to be what you do, right? When protein powder comes out, say, hey, 25 grams of protein. Well, this has got 24. Vice versa, pre-workout. Well, I got 6 grams of citrulline. This has got 8. You tend to call out the differences in the ingredients and the profiles. As protein cereal has grown, very few have really called out macros anymore because Magic Spoon, one of the very first, is just so tough to beat. Their profiles are so damn good, and the taste and texture that they deliver is, again, now, worth saying. A lot of people will say it's nothing like real cereal. Of course it's not going to be right like real cereal. It's protein. Like a protein shake isn't going to taste like a thick shake from, I don't know, a fast food restaurant. That's not going to happen. But in the grand scheme of things versus protein cereals, it dominates a lot. There's not that gritty texture and stuff. But either way, that aside, Magic Spoon, Magic Spoon has come out with a second breakfast cereal. So they have expanded into bars. It was really the only area they had done outside of different flavors of their original cereal. They have now done Magic Spoon Granola. And I find this an extremely interesting product because typically when you get granola, especially in sports nutrition, health nutrition, granola is what you would add to a name or a call out if you wanted to say, hey, wholesome carbs, right? Let's say I said protein, I don't know, how would I say this? Even if you just say granola protein or whatever, it brings with it the idea that, okay, it's high carbs. Granola that's what it's known for, wholesome, quality, nutritious, high carbs, and some pretty good fats, moderate protein. Magic Spoon has done this, but in a very intriguing way. They have kept with that core focus that you get in Magic Spoon cereal. Now the catch with Magic Spoon's protein cereal is it's high in protein, low in carbs. It's keto friendly. The protein granola kind of tries to follow that same path. The carbs aren't as low, but they're shitload lower than you would expect from a granola. And I think that what they've tried to do here, and could be wrong, I'm just guessing, that they're not tying granola to this to replicate the nutritional source, like, hey, quality carbs and whatever from XYZ. They're doing it to say, hey, this is high protein with the texture of granola, because it is made with granola type ingredients. If I remember exactly, they had cashews, almonds, peanuts, sunflower seeds, some very typical granola-y things, but the macros are not. They're the opposite. So I think what they've done is gone for the texture, which I thought was a very cool twist. Like if you see a granola bar, you're thinking quality carb. You never think just the texture, no carbs. So I commend them for doing this. And again, the carbs aren't as low as the original Magic Spoon cereal. So you get 19 to 20 grams of carbs, just 7 of that's net carbs, 13 to 14 protein, 13 to 15 fat. The fat is high, and that's probably the main reason the calories are up to 260 to 270, whereas the original cereal sits below 200. I think it's mid 100s. But they've balanced this, right? They've shifted it so the servings that you get aren't the same size. So a serving of Magic Spoon cereal versus Magic Spoon granola aren't the same, but the protein count is the same. So they've listed off the serving size for granola at the amount you need to get that similar 13, 14 grams of protein. But again, it does come with 7 net carbs, 15, 16 fat, 13, 15 fat, and 260 to 270 calories. But I think it's a damn cool approach that they took, rather than throwing their shit out the window and just saying like, hey, it's granola, it's going to be high carbs. They have really driven home that Magic Spoon is about high protein, low carbs, or carbs not need to worry about, and done that in granola, a food you just almost never really see. It would be like someone in the UK doing a protein flapjack. It's oat-based, it's going to have a shit ton of carbs, but they're just meaning the texture, which is, like I said, you don't really see it happen. So kudos to Magic Spoon for really stepping up and doing something different on that one. Next up, we're going to shoot over to Prime, the beverage behemoth from Logan Paul and KSI. They announced a whole new series, a whole new ice series, the Prime Ice series this week, kicking off the new year with not 1, 2, 3 new flavors, all under this Prime Ice banner. Now, the difference here is, it's interesting. So there are 3 flavors in the series: red chill, blue chill, and orange. Not orange chill, just orange. I thought that was a surprising, why not just put the chill? Either way. Now it has all of the same ingredients. You've got the electrolytes, the low sugar, the BCAAs. Now the twist is that, again, these aren't just red, blue, and orange flavors. They have I'm trying to find it again, the exact words were smooth as ice finish. Now, to be honest, when you have an infusion of frosty or icy into a drink, it's not really smooth to me, but that's neither here or there. they have an icy finish is what they're saying, and it's smooth. So I imagine it's, because the blue chill, I believe, I'm guessing is the blue raspberry. The red chill I'm suspecting is tropical punch, because those two colors are the same colors that you get in regular flavors from Prime, and those are the tastes associated with them. And then you have orange, and so I'm guessing that it's sort of like a frosty, icy kind of tang or whatever to it, bite at the end. I don't know. Something very, like, I guess similar to some of the supplements we've seen that have that little icy bite, but this is a beverage, and it's got some little twist to it. I'll definitely give them a try to find out kind of what this twist is, what we're talking about here. But they're out now. I believe we had heard that someone found them at Walmart. 3 in total. They haven't said they're limited, so I'm guessing they'll be sticking around. But it is very much a separate flavor series. You go onto their website, it says hydration, then ice, Prime Ice, so it's like a family sort of thing. But you can check out more on that on the website. Oh man, we've got a few we have to jump through. We will next go over to Redefine Foods, the functional company from a long-time sports nutrition brand Phenaflex. They announced a new product called Protein Donut. Now, if you aren't familiar with Redefine, or you might be familiar with Phenaflex, Phenaflex did the oatmeal protein pie. That was kind of their first dive into protein snacks, and it was a huge success. It showed up everywhere. Very unique product. Again, what I was saying, it was oatmeal based, so it did have high carbs. It wasn't as lean as some of the protein bars or a protein shake. It was, I think it was like under 20 grams of protein maybe. I think it was under 20, mid-teens, close to 300 calories. Very similar to an outright bar in terms of balance, but a very unique experience, as it was a traditional oatmeal protein pie. You had a creamy filling and then 2 oat kind of based cookies either side. So last year they transitioned their functional products to a brand called Redefine, and with it they introduced some new authentic flavors. They've now announced Protein Donut under the Redefine brand, and it is pretty much what it sounds like, a pre-packaged fluffy donut. Got a nice delicious glaze across the top, and there are 2 flavors, chocolate, and then the other one is where things get a bit interesting, is it's Dippin' Dots ice cream cookie dough, or chocolate chip cookie dough. So it is a collaboration very similar to some of the flavors we saw when they transitioned to Redefine. They did that one with Skippy, and it's a whole new product, new experience. The protein on it is 15 grams. I haven't seen the other numbers, like the carbs and fats and calories. I would suspect they're in the same ballpark as the oatmeal protein pie, just because they had the protein in that realm of mid-teens. And it's a big snack. It's not a huge snack. I think it's 61 grams. I think it's 61 grams a piece. I could be wrong on this one. I remember, yeah, 61 grams. It is 61. So it is rather sizable, and at 15 to 16 grams, it's 15 grams of protein per piece. Yeah, there's room for much higher carbs and fats and stuff like that. We'll put it out there once we kind of find out the exact breakdown. But yeah, it's pretty cool to see them come out with a new product right on the bang of the new year. And we may even have more news on them, and where you can try them firsthand. A little nod or hint some people might pick up on. The last story we're going to finish off with, and we have it in the background as per usual tradition, you might say, 2 new flavors right here to start the year for the Bang energy drink, which has been kind of really building momentum since Monster said that they were going to start pushing distribution, start rebuilding reliability on shelves and whatnot. And even when they also said they're minimizing, or I guess, what was the word? They were minimizing, sort of, I guess, shrinking down as minimizing per se, but just streamlining the menu to a lesser number of flavors. There are a lot of ones that were removed. And so, yeah, since then, they've really been building up some noise, showing up in more places. And to start the new year, they have 2 new flavors. One of them, which was previewed and revealed several months ago, that's called Sour Ropes. It is a sour candy type thing. And then this one that the news came in pretty much this week, just a few days after we got, so the launch of Sour Ropes was today. That was the official launch that you can now get it. And then in addition to that, we got news of a new flavor called Any Means Orange. Now, the name, Bang is known for putting some funky names out there, and there's reason behind this name though, because initially it does sound like, what's that kind of thing, Any Means? So it's actually a collaboration with the content group Any Means Possible. So they had done a few social media posts with Bang. I'm not sure how deep the partnership goes or what the story is, but there was social media posts with the two collaborating over the last few months, and this is with them, also known as AMP Exclusive by their social media handle. It is, so across the top around the neck of the drink it says any means possible, reference to that group. And then the flavor obviously is kind of a nod to that, called Any Means Orange, a citrusy orange flavor. And it even has their little handle above the Bang logo and AMP Exclusive. So it very much seems like a collaboration. It was said to be rolling out between this month and next month. So pretty much the next few weeks you can probably expect to see it in coolers and on shelves. But Sour Ropes is out now. You can go to Amazon, pick it up, and I imagine that it'll be kind of trickling out into distribution in all of the places, or many of the places you can find Bang Energy. For this episode, that wraps it up. That is it. Thank you for listening. As always, that's all we ask for you to do to support Stacked is listen, check out the site every day, join the thousands on our email list, join the hundreds on the rewards program. Be sure to check the website every single day, set 2 times a day, 3 times a day. Make sure you know everything that's coming out and happening in the world of supplements, energy drinks, and functional foods. Be sure to share the website with your mom, your dad, every family member in existence and friend. And thank you for listening. Until next time, see you soon.